We'll be here for summer, then we'll go. We'll be here for sunrise, then we'll fly.
Welcome to another question and answer video where I get to actually answer some questions that I get in the comments, Instagram, on our Discord channel, which if you're not part of our Discord channel, I have a link to that below so you can directly communicate with us, talk about camera gear and traveling. Also ask you guys in our community section, our YouTube page and Discord, like I said, or Instagram, what questions you might have about traveling, video, anything. So, let's get into this. So the first question I have is from Luke K. Art, which he says, I don't know if this would count as a Q&A or a request video, but maybe you could show your media management workflow from recording a short clip, disconnecting the storage from the camera, connecting it to your computer, importing the clip from the storage, and how I import it, where it comes from, and then a split screen of me talking in the studio with the camera I would normally use compared to trying to get similar composition. I'm going to actually do a full studio tour that is almost the exact description of what he's asking in this question. So I'm not gonna show everything, but I'm gonna take a couple pictures of how I have everything set up. Normally, I'll film something like this here to my camera, and today I'm actually using the Ursa G2. I've finally actually marked the place in the floor where everything actually needs to go for me for different camera angles and for different setups that I have. And I'll take a picture of this, I actually have a monitor, a TV actually up here so I can actually monitor this since I film a lot of this by myself. Light here, microphone, table that actually is on wheels that can move. Behind me is actually my ingest computer that I use that actually I ran a gigabit Ethernet cable to, so it's actually connected to my home system. And I have upstairs in my office, which I'll show pictures of as well. I have a hard drive, I pool hard drives and then back them up to another set of pooled hard drives, and I can connect to that from here. I also have near my router on the downstairs area is a QNOP NOS hard drive system that I can also access from the internet right here. So typically I try to make this garage or studio easy where I don't have to take anything out of here and bring it to my editing desk upstairs where my office is, which is great. I can dump it all right here. It goes the same speed it would transfer files as it would upstairs or any other computer that's connected to the network because of the Ethernet cables, which I also have a port upstairs that I've connected. That's kind of how I do it, and that's how I can access all the different files from a computer down here if I want to start a project down here, and then I can connect to it upstairs. Or it just makes my media management when I'm recording these videos way easier. So, but I'm going to be doing a full office studio tour and showing how I go in depth about how I set up everything. And I'm going to be doing that here, hopefully in the next month or two, now that I've kind of gotten everything set up how I like it. But great question. And also Nico Stripazon, I'm getting that wrong. And he's asking, what am I using for long-term storage for projects and files, which kind of goes along with this last question. And again, I'll probably talk about that in that office tour video, but I actually use a combination of a NOS hard drive system, which you should never use those for backups. Even though it can sort of be a backup, you want to have a hard copy somewhere else. And that's what I have upstairs. So I have multiple hard drives that run fast enough for me to video edit off of. And this is where I keep a lot of my travel adventure stuff and my long-term files that I want to go through. I actually have them labeled and organized by location, dates, people that are in them. And those are all upstairs, and there are a bunch of external hard drives that I've just pooled together because it was actually a cheap solution. Eventually I'm going to be wanting to get some kind of server cabinet for this and maybe some off-site storage, which would be ideal, but that's kind of how I do long-term storage at this point. So I'll keep you updated though if I change any of that. The next question is from MJ. And this is from the audio video I did on the Pocket 4K a while back, probably about a year ago. He asked, is a 3.5 millimeter jack a balanced input? And I can't find this info on the internet. I don't blame you. It's actually incredibly hard because I think I found that answer at one point. I had to go search through a bunch of stuff because it's not in the manual. I'm pretty sure that it's unbalanced. The difference between an unbalanced and a balanced audio line is basically unbalanced has two connectors. It has the positive and the negative, but the ground is connected to the negative. So you do get a little bit more noise, where if you have a balanced line, you actually have three connecting points, which would be positive, negative, and a separate one for the grounding, which helps there be less noise in the cable and is primarily used especially if you want to have longer cables connecting to the camera. So that's kind of the difference. But as far as I know, and from what I can tell myself, I'm pretty sure it's unbalanced line, unfortunately. Next, from Pierre Fitcher Kenny, or Kenai, however you want to say that. You look like Ed Sheeran. Obviously means Ed Sheeran. I don't know, is it the hair? I don't know. Let's do a close-up, side by side. I don't know, do I look like Ed Sheeran? Or Ed Sheeran? Thanks. The next is from Eugene Chia. He said, awesome footage. What microphone lab system was used to capture audio? And he's talking about our end of the world trip where it was like a travel documentary out in Alaska. And actually used a couple different microphones. Didn't use lavs at all. I kind of hate having to set up lav microphones on a trip like that. It's just a lot going on with the cameras and all that. So actually we used this on the Ursa for the interview shots. And we had like a normal Rode shotgun kind of mic that you would use for vlogging, essentially, as the secondary ones. And I've linked what we use to that below. I always try to use this one whenever I can, just because I love how it sounds. It's the Rode NTG3 mic, which I've had for a while, and honestly don't feel like buying another one until I get really high up in it. These are great microphones. So that's what I was using for that, for audio. What constant bit rate do I use for my YouTube videos? Typically 12:1. I think I've said this in some other videos, but 12:1 typically tends to be the one I like to use. I have to make a ton of these videos all the time. So like a camera, like a face to camera like this, even though there might be a little bit extra noise, and I don't need the extra bit rate for a shot like this because it's just going to blow up my storage. Sure, I could do Q0 every time I do one of these videos. Are you going to notice the difference? Maybe, but are you going to care about the difference? That's the main question, and it saves money, time, and hard drive expenses. DC fan for life says, more Pocket 6K Pro videos. Hell yes. What's the name of the song in the start though? Was this song right here from our last video.
Let's just take a ride along the bay. We don't need to work, we can sit around and play. I've been waiting for so long to get away.
And is actually a song by, it's called Satisfied with Me by Brother Joseph. I'm about to do a video on this here soon for Artlist. I use Artlist as my main, like when I want to do good content or like quality content, like my high level content, even a lot of these videos, I will use Artlist. They are like my favorite one to be able to go to. That's at an affordable rate, but it actually sounds like musicians wrote the songs and not someone just like sitting on a computer trying to come up with something that sounds like something else. That is where I found the best music for my videos and the ones that actually can help push emotion and some other stuff on this. But I'll be doing a video on Artlist here soon talking about color palettes and how they relate to music and video production. So keep an eye out for that one. But great question. This next question, if you couldn't tell from the intro, I was going to make fun of as soon as I saw it. So DC Fan for Life asked, how much heat can the camera handle? And that is a great question, and one I believe I answered in my Pocket 4K masterclass we did. And actually, so the operating temperature can go from 32, it can operate from between 32 degrees Fahrenheit to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Storage-wise, it can actually be stored in, and you really don't want to get close to these numbers anyways, but up to -4 degrees Fahrenheit and 113 degrees Fahrenheit. So you've got a good amount to go with before you start running into issues with it. But other than that, that is it. Thank you for all these questions and footage that I was sent and all this stuff. I'd love getting to talk and see if I can help or at least point you guys in the right direction. In the future, feel free to comment in our community page. I'll ask there all the time when I'm getting ready to make these. Talk in our Discord channel. I'll probably feature some of those here eventually too as I fill that up and we create more of a community on Discord. Look forward to you guys' questions. Have fun making these videos, and until next time. This is John Owens with Frame Voyager.